and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show again. What should we do a story about today? Let's see. Uh-oh, the Minions. And wait for it, Lucy. Well, that's handy because they go nicely together. And the red bag we have Sky. And a velociraptor. Right, good. And the white bag of places we have. One place, please. The supermarkets. Okay. And last but not least, in the pink bag of destiny, random things and stuff like that, a big hole. Right. Cool, blinking Nora. Okay. Right. Oh, it's got some dazzling light on me today. One day. Oh, I didn't pick us out. We're in it anyway. Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go on a trip to visit Sky, because she's always getting roped into helping out them and it seemed like a nice thing to do. So they packed a bag with all sorts of things like chocolate and dog treats and a drink, and they set off to on a double. Where did Paw Patrol live? Paw Patrol, never you're in trouble. No, I can't remember where they live. To wherever Paw Patrol live. It's like Sunnyvale or something. Anyway, that's where they went. And Sky was super excited to see them. Goodness me. She was jumping all over the place. Aunty Lisa gave her some dog biscuits just to help calm her down. She was really chuffed that everyone had come all that way to see her. And so they had a lovely picnic with Sky and some of the other Paw Patrollers like Rubble and Chase. And obviously Marshall was there. And everything was going really, really well. And they thought, let's play a quick game of football. I said, okay, we'll play a quick game of football. Nothing could go wrong with that. So they started playing football. And the ball was bouncing around all over the place. And then all of a sudden, it didn't bounce back. And they were like, where did the ball go? And so they ran over to where they last spotted the ball flying through the air. And do you know what? Well, I'll tell you. It had fallen down the most enormous hole. What? A big, ginormous hole had appeared in the town where the Paw Patrol lived. And everybody was gathered around it, peering in, going, wow, that wasn't there earlier. What could possibly have gone wrong? Now, Sky loves a challenge, and she said, do you know what? I think we should all climb down the hole and see what's at the bottom of the hole. I mean, it seemed like a good enough idea. So, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer and Sky all put on their best climbing harnesses. Very important to have a climbing harness and a climbing helmet. And they got some climbing rope, and Rubble attached the rope to a very, very, very strong tree. And then they all abseiled, which is where you can walk backwards down the hole. Now, at the bottom of the hole, it was super dark. And everyone thought, no, did we bring any torches? It turned out, of course, they'd packed their torches. What kind of crazy person wouldn't pack a torch in their backpack? So, it turned out that the hole wasn't just a hole. It led to a tunnel. We like a tunnel. It's not always a good idea to go and investigate a tunnel. You don't know how well shored up it is. It could collapse at any given moment. But Aleksander and Kristoffer felt pretty confident. And Skye said, hey, let's go check out this tunnel. And they went, what could go wrong? Now, before Aunty Lisa had even had a chance to point out the possible health and safety hazards, off they went. She went, oh, fine, I'll follow. So they went down this tunnel, and they went further and further and further down the tunnel, along and along and along, and the tunnel got kind of smaller and smaller and smaller, and Aunty Lisa was crawling, and everyone else was laughing at her because they were short enough to still kind of walk just about. And eventually it opened out into a big old cavern inside, a cave in fact. And do you know what was in that cave? Well, lucky you, I'm going to tell you. What was in that cave was loads of minions. Hundreds of them. Minions everywhere. All singing and all digging away with like pickaxes. And doing their usual crazy minion stuff. And Aleksander and Kristoffer were like, oh, the minions, we know you guys. And they said, hey, hey, hey. And all the minions were like, hey. And they went, whew, don't get a lot of sense out of minions. It was a good job that Aleksander and Kristoffer had packed some bananas. So they shared those out as much as they could. And then they spotted Lucy in the distance. And they said, hey, hey, Lucy, Lucy, what are you guys doing down here? Well, Lucy whizzed over to them from the other end of the cave. And she said, shh, it's top secret investigation. We're trying to uncover who's been stealing stuff from the supermarket. Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa thought this was a very elaborate way of figuring out who's been stealing stuff from the supermarket, but they went along with it anyway. And Lucy explained that someone had been tunnelling underneath the supermarket and had actually been stealing money out of the safe and stealing things like chocolate bars and hair gel. And they were like, whoa, what? People have really been doing that at the supermarket? That is really naughty. And Lucy said, yeah, I know. It's really out of order. So we've been sent on a secret mission to tunnel into the tunnel of the supermarket and figure out who's been doing it. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, that's pretty cool. And Skye went, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, can we help? Well, Lucy was reluctant at first because, you know, it's top secret. But she said, okay, because I trust you guys. We've worked together before. You can help me out in this top secret mission. All right? So, what they did was this. They went and got some supplies, first of all. And then they came back down in the tunnel. And Lucy said what they had to do. They created a little window through to where the tunnel that went into the supermarket was. And she said, all we've got to do is sit here really quietly and wait for the thieves to turn up. And everyone went, okay, we'll sit here really, really quietly. And so they sat there. And then they got a bit peckish. And they heard, they went, oi, shh, shh, shh. It was Skye eating dog biscuits. They sat there really quietly for another few minutes. And then it was Aleksander eating a sausage. Shh, Aleksander, shh. Then they heard another noise. It was Kristoffer eating an ice lolly. How had he got an ice lolly down there? Nobody knew. Shh, Kristoffer. Shh. And then they spotted some light in the tunnel and they peered through their little gap and they looked very closely and they went, oh! It was Balthazar Bratt. But he was not alone. He was riding on top of what appeared to be a highly trained velociraptor. Now, we only know of a few highly trained velociraptors, one of which is Blue, which is Owen's favourite velociraptor. So Aleksander and Kristoffer say, "Shh, shh, Lucy, that's Blue, Owen's favourite velociraptor." And Lucy went, "Okay, I don't think we should try and stop them now. The velociraptor might eat us." And everybody agreed. So what they did was they had to let Balthazar Bratt go just then because he was riding on a velociraptor, and that would be really dangerous to stop him. So they all crept back out of their tunnel and back into the night that was in where Paw Patrol live. And they went to the Paw Patrol tower and they chilled out in there for a little bit and had a think. And they thought, right, we need to figure out a couple of things. Thing number one, has Owen lost a velociraptor? That's very important. Thing number two, if he has, how are we going to get that velociraptor back? And thing number three, how are we going to catch Balthazar Bratt? So they had a little think, and Aleksander and Kristoffer called Owen on the iPad. And they said, "Hey, Owen." And Owen went, "Oh, you guys. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, "What's happened, Owen? What's wrong?" And he went, "It's Blue. She's gone. Blue's gone. I don't know where she is." And there was a hole in the enclosure. "Oh, she's gone. My favourite velociraptor is gone. You gotta help me, guys. I've been calling everyone. I should have called you earlier." And Aleksander and Kristoffer says, "Wait, Owen, calm down. We know where she is." And Owen went, Really? You know where she is?" And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, "Yes, we've seen her. She's with Balthazar Bratt and he's using her to help him rob supermarkets and things." And Owen went, "What? Oh my God, that's terrible. I hope he's being kind to her. I'll get that Balthazar Bratt." Well, Aleksander and Kristoffer explained where they were, and Owen zoomed down to the Paw Patrol lookout. And he was like, "You guys, we've got to get in there quick. We've got to get that Balthazar Bratt. He has pushed his luck today, stealing my favourite velociraptor." Aleksander and Kristoffer looked at Owen and said, "Okay, Owen, we are going to help you, but we're going to need to keep our heads super cool, okay? If we charge in there, we're going to spook Blue, and Balthazar Bratt might get her to eat people." And Owen said, "Yeah, that's a good point. She does quite like eating people, given half the chance." So, they made a plan to lure Balthazar Bratt into an easily caught part of the supermarket, which was the toy section. Now, you would think Balthazar Bratt, being a grown-up, would have outgrown most toys. But this is not the case. Partly because most grown-ups haven't actually outgrown toys, but also because Balthazar Bratt is crazy. He's a little bit obsessed with his youth, with his prime, with the time when everyone thought he was the coolest kid on TV, which sadly has gone. So they said, right, all we've got to do to get Balthazar Bratt in is put some of his toys from the olden times up for sale, along with, I don't know, maybe some really expensive memorabilia from other things and maybe some diamonds. Yeah, we'll throw some diamonds in there because he loves diamonds. And some bubble gum. And they said, okay, so Lucy contacted the supermarket guy who owned the supermarket. And he was more than happy to set a trap in the toy department. And he got hold of some old Balthazar Bratt memorabilia. And he got some diamonds, obviously, and other cool stuff. And he made a big deal of it on the telly. And Balthazar Bratt, they knew would be watching. So, the next week, they had to wait a little while because everyone had to get news of this. Anyway, it took a little while. Maybe it was like 3 days later because you don't want to leave a velociraptor too long. Anyway, the trap was laid. All of the Balthazar Bratt stuff was ready to go. Now, they needed to be a little bit cunning, and they needed, Owen said, some more velociraptors to help get Blue back. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said that sounded like a brilliant plan. So Owen brought along the other 2 highly trained velociraptors that he has, whose names I do not know. And and they all went down into the tunnels together. And Aleksander and Kristoffer each rode on a velociraptor with Owen on one and Lucy on the other. And Skye and Aunty Lisa had to just go behind them, and they were really disappointed that they didn't get to ride on a velociraptor. But hey, we all have our jobs in this world, and apparently Aunty Lisa and Skye didn't get to ride on a velociraptor that day. So, anyway, they waited and waited in the tunnel, and everyone had to be super quiet and super nice to the velociraptors. They fed those velociraptors so many sausages so they wouldn't be tempted to eat anybody, that the velociraptors nearly didn't want to get up when the time came. But eventually that time did come. Balthazar Bratt appeared in the tunnel that they could see in their little hole. They could see him riding on Blue. And Blue was like, Blue did not look happy. Owen's heart was breaking in two watching Blue look so sad. But anyway, so Balthazar Bratt went past them and up through his tunnel into the supermarket. And then Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa and Skye and everybody and Lucy and everyone, they smashed through the hole into the next tunnel adjacent. And they went up through to the supermarket too. Balthazar Bratt was in there looking at all his old memorabilia, all the pictures of him when he was a kid star in his terrible TV show, and he was trying out all the new gels that were there as well. And he clutched in his little hands a diamond, a pink diamond, and he was like, wow. Just as he was doing that, Owen came up behind him with Kristoffer on a velociraptor and went, "Not so fast, Balthazar Bratt!" And Lucy came round from the other side with Aleksander on another velociraptor and went, "Ha! We've got you! You are under arrest, okay?" And Balthazar Bratt went, "You can't arrest me! You're not a police officer! Ha 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 ha!" But then, because they're no fools, Chase appeared round the other side. Ha! He's a police officer dog, which is the best kind of police officer. And he went, "Well, I am a police officer and you're under arrest. Chase is on the case." And Skye said, "Yeah." And she didn't have much else to say. And Aunty Lisa was like, "That'll teach you." Well, at that moment, Balthazar Bratt gave Blue the velociraptor such a big kick up the bum that Blue ran and ran and ran and ran really fast because he was really annoyed. And he ran and ran out of the supermarket and down the street. And everyone went, "Oh no, quick, we've got to chase Blue, we've got to chase Blue, we've got to get Blue back." Owen was nearly about to cry again. It was a disaster. So Owen and Kristoffer on one velociraptor and Lucy and Aleksander on the other velociraptor zoomed they did after them, and they chased them down the street. Poor Blue had such a fright by being kicked up the bum. She ran and she ran and she ran and she ran and she ran. And then they reached a cliff edge. That's right. They reached a cliff edge. And they were like, "No! Blue's going to fall off the cliff." And Balthazar went, "Ha! You'll never catch me! Ha 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 ha! And you know what he did? Well, I'll tell you. He jumped off the cliff. Now that seems really stupid because you get on the bottom. But he didn't. He had a parachute attached to his back. It was very annoying. But Blue was extremely relieved that she no longer had stupid Balthazar Bratt on her back. And she came dashing over to where Owen was. And Owen was like, Blue, I missed you so much. And gave her a big hug. And then Aunty Lisa and Sky, who'd been carrying all of the stuff, by the way, they appeared and they'd got loads of sausages from the supermarket and they gave them to Blue. And the other two velociraptors were so full, they said that Blue could have it all in their own velociraptor way of... Anyway, once Blue had eaten so many velociraptors, she could nearly not velociraptors. Once Blue had eaten so many sausages, she nearly couldn't move. She looked over at Owen like... And Owen said, time to go home, Blue. And Blue went... And so everybody walked with the velociraptors back to Jurassic World. It had been a very, very busy day. And eventually they made it back to Jurassic World. And Blue and the other two velociraptors, whose names I can't remember, went back to their enclosure. And Owen gave them extra special treats and cuddles before they went to bed. And then the minions appeared, and the minions were like, bananas! And then everybody had a big celebration party with banana cake and bananas and mashed banana on toast and banana splits where they have ice cream and chocolate and sprinkles and things. That was the most delicious. And banana milkshakes. And then eventually everyone said, you know what? Can we have something that's not banana based? And the minions were like, because they just thought that was crazy. Anyway, they all had loads of banana-based treats and a big party and some other non-banana-based treats because I know you'll complain if you just have to have banana treats. So they had normal ice cream too. And then the supermarket owner was so pleased that they'd at least got rid of Balthazar Bratt for now that he gave them all 2-for-1 vouchers on as much ice cream as they wanted forever. And they were like, woohoo! Best day ever! And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.